Hello, everyone, and welcome to round number 2, back 9 of the 2020 Halloween Classic presented by Legacy Disc. Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, as we are out here at Sunset Disc Golf Course, and we've got a great lead card for you. James Proctor, Steve Rico, Wyatt Merritt, and the guy that just carded an ace, spoiler alert, if you didn't see it in the front half, Chris Pinegar. Steve, glad you could join me for the back of round number 2.
Yes, sir.
You are 8 under through the front 9 holes here, and trying to make a move on James Proctor. You're within one of them right now.
Yeah, it's a scoring course. You got to be out there and you got to score, but you got to throw some good shots. This is an island hole right here, where anything can happen. You can birdie, you can bogey, you can ace it. There's a lot of different things going on in a hole like this. So it's very important. You can lose 2 or 3 strokes, so you got to be very precise with your shot. Proctor just parked it.
Yep. So if you do get to the tree, any of the trees are inbounds. So if we saw in round 1, some people hit the trees and then kick back OB, and it looks like you guys are all staying clear of the trees, and you're right next to the pin. And let's see if Wyatt can make it 4 for 4 here on this card.
Yeah, he pulls it a little bit, but I think he ends up in bounds here.
Yeah, you guys are actually, you guys talk about it. You get the book out. I didn't see you get your glasses out. So at that point, you're just looking at pictures.
Thanks there, Barry.
All right. So it's deemed that this is considered out of bounds. With like a regular OB would be played. So he goes to where he was last inbounds, and now he has this to save his par.
Yeah, he was definitely struggling with some wrist issues that round. It started early during the round. I was trying to keep him calm, but it wasn't any nerves. It just happened to be some type of injury in his wrist.
And I believe he's just 15 or 17. I know he's younger. I want to say maybe it's 17.
Yeah, he's
maybe
17
16.
years old. He's 17. He's just moved up to Open, so he's gonna be a great player. But of course, when you're young like that, you got a lot to learn still. Once you join the Open division, when you see how the big dogs all play, it really is a learning process. So we'll see how he develops. I'm pretty sure he's going to be a great player.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Yeah, you're so cool. All right, we move over. Hole 11 is a par 4, and I'm kind of near the landing zone, actually. I mean, I feel like everybody wants to get at least to me or past me with this shot, because it's a real hard dog leg to the right when you're standing on the tee.
Well, it's a tough hole. You got to get up to a good tee shot. There's OB all to the right. That's a great shot right there. That leaves him with about 275-foot straight shot, but there's still OBs to the right, so anything can happen.
We see Proctor, just the raw power and speed. And this also, I mean, he would love for that to turn over quicker, but that's a pretty big pull.
Man, I play with Proctor a lot of times, man, and playing with him this week, dude. The guy's just a stud, man. I want to see him tour and just see what he can do on the road out there.
Yeah, and a little inside info that I got from him. He is, I believe, moving up to Washington State here in the next couple weeks or couple months, and he's a special education teacher. And so we'll see what his tour life and what things bring. And I know everything's a little crazy in the year of COVID, but we would love to see him out there playing more.
And you know what, man? He's all around just a great guy. You know what I mean? He's a great guy. I watched him when he was younger, and he just had raw talent, and you want to see what those guys can do when as they mature and get better and play more events,
You got it. Now we've got Wyatt, speaking of the young guns. You mentioned it. There's OB all along this right side, which it looks like he just barely stays out of. And then if you go too deep, within, we'll say 28, maybe 30 feet of the pin, you find one of the Las Vegas roads.
Yeah, definitely, man. So OB long, OB to the right. the only safe throw is to land about 30 feet left, but that's tough as well.
And that was pretty surprising to see. Proctor kind of, not put enough hyzer on it to get that one to push back to the pin.
Right. And here I am. I throw a clutch, and I'm throwing a broken in clutch, kind of straight, but I'm aiming left, and I end up in a good position there with an attempt for the putt to try to get my birdie on the hole.
Yeah, the one mistake you don't want to make is to turn it over and go right. We actually saw Brody Smith, I think, put himself in good position and yank it over to the right during the first round, and that's the one mistake you'd much rather go long and go OB than be anywhere right and OB. Not that you want to be OB at all, but I'd rather you go deep of the pin at least.
If you go deep of the pin, you could save your par.
This is Proctor trying to save his par.
Oh, he comes up just a little short on that putt. But you have to be very cautious because OB is right behind it.
Yeah, and it seems like we're these little pine needles kind of poking through on your dome.
Yeah. I stepped back there because all the cars are driving by. And once I stepped back, I went up to my putt, and I just kind of rushed through my routine a little bit just so I don't think about it and having to make the putt. So.
I mean, if we put a little product in those needles, it could be like a little head massager there for you. Just at the right height.
Absolutely.
At the par by Chris. And this is pretty much this and the next tee are the two furthest points out on the course, away from headquarters, so to speak, just to, draw a little map for everyone. We're about as far out as you get at this point. Now we start to really make our way back with hole 12.
Pretty close to the Las Vegas Strip, almost.
Yeah, he throws away. And to put that in perspective real quick, this course is about 15-minute drive from the Strip. just so everyone knows. I know some people wonder, hey, if I'm going there for vacation or for some reason, yeah, you're about 15 minutes away.
Right. So here's Chris right here bombing the throw. A roller. I think he's rolling. What did I ask him? It might have been a boss or something, but he rips a roller. There's a lot of different stand pits and landing zones out there, so you have to avoid those to get a good roller off.
Yeah, I think those are a lot of those are gopher holes. We saw some of the gopher in round one, and that's the one disadvantage to trying to put it on the ground, and Wyatt just going a little turnover that maybe quite a little too stable.
And then watching Proctor throw this shot is very fun to watch. A guy like that just bomb all the way to the basket.
Yeah, and it feels like maybe he, was playing a little conservative there, because I would have loved to see that actually turn over.
Yeah, it kind of hides it out on him, but I know you'll see in the next round he can totally reach the hole. So, and the hole is 600 feet, by the way, guys.
Yeah, and I feel like, this is one of the par fours that you guys really should be feasting on, because almost wherever you put yourself out there in the fairway, hopefully you have a lane to get to the basket, and I feel like threes are kind of expected here.
Well, you should get a three but it's long, so you have to you got to go 400 plus feet to get a good look at your second shot. So if you don't go that far, there's definitely some trees you got to avoid on the upshot.
Yeah, it looked like you kind of got an anti-skip there, and then the tree didn't help.
Right, yeah. And that was a crushed drive, actually, from Chris. So he had a jump putt for his eagle, and he'll end up with an easy birdie.
All right, putting downhill, just a little bit off the mark. You had a good look.
Good putt right there by Proctor.
Yeah, it looks like you guys are knotted back up, and you're trying to turn this into a 2-horse race. Wyatt, of course, we've seen him struggle a little bit here, and Chris is having a great round. But you and Proctor, you guys are 5 clear of Pinegar, at least for the moment.
Well, you know what? Coming into the tournament, I knew it was going to be a battle. Nowadays it's never easy. You look at the next guy like, okay, no matter what, I'm going to be in a battle, and you got to just prepare for that. That way you're not going to have any surprises when you're out on the course. Like, oh, this guy's battling me. Like, somebody is stepping up to battle you throughout any tournament. Doesn't matter what the rating is or any of that kind of stuff. So you just got to be prepared for that kind of stuff.
Well, Pinegar, like I said, trying to close the gap. He's within 4. Huge shout out to Sandy Point Resort and Disc Golf Ranch. So I move over to the kind of the swing position. I'm just about pin high for this little dump forehand.
Yeah, it's a pretty relatively easy hole. There's no wind. So backhand or a flick shot for all of us in our foursome, you should birdie the hole, definitely, or you're going to lose a stroke.
And we see that comes in with a little too much edge by Proctor, so it kind of gets a cut roll back out at the end, which is why you love seeing going with the forehand, because you're probably going to be skipping, toward the pin, so to speak, even if you come up short.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the play, as long as there's no wind pushing you out, because you have to really cut the corner and make sure you have enough height on that corner. If you leak it out a little bit left, it's not going to come back in, and you'll leave yourself with like a circle putt or 40-footer. There's progress from about 40 to like 45-footer right here because he had that little roll away.
Wow. Bang, bang. That's a solid putt.
Great putt right there. That's a crucial putt on a hole that you must birdie, or you're going to lose the strokes of the field.
Just inside that is Wyatt. Clearly still a little frustration with his wrist there, and you've got easy cleanup. And still knotted up. You and James, 22 under. And remaining 4 back is Chris.
Right, so this next hole we're playing is it's a tough par 3, low ceiling, OB, left, right, and beyond the hole. So 3 is average, and if you throw a great shot, you can birdie the hole, but there's really a lot of danger, and most of the time, if you take a 3, you're going to make up strokes on the field.
Now you're likely to not be losing any strokes, that's for sure. And that is low and left, but in a perfectly fine position.
And here's Proctor. That hyzer flip. Ended up a little short there.
Yeah, it looks like he was just low as well. It came out of his hand low.
The height is very important because you have to stay low, but you have to carry like another 100 feet. You have to stay low, but carry 100 feet to get to the basket. So the height is really tough to get there. And then OB is like 10 feet behind the basket, so you really have to be cautious of your speed on the throw.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what happened with Proctor. And you say 10 feet. I think it's more like 3. So if you come in hot on this basket at all, you are finding the OB directly behind it. And I think, someone like Proctor can easily reach it and just thinks, oh gosh, don't throw it too far. And then, overcompensates and throws it a little low.
Here's Wyatt with an upshot. That's not an easy upshot there. It's probably from about 130 feet. And it's not easy because you don't want to leave yourself short because OB, you're probably right. It's probably 3 feet behind the basket.
Yeah, it's right on top of it. You see James not even messing with it. He's like, 60 feet, I'll lay this thing up.
Right, yeah.
And half of that distance at 30 feet, Chris says, I'm not giving away a stroke.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm here to tap out from about 15, which is
Yeah.
still, you got to make sure and commit to making a putt like that. Anything can happen if you just slack off for a second and miss a 15-footer on a hole like that.
Yeah, because I mean, that thing rolls 5 feet, you're out of bounds and giving away another stroke. So
Right.
maintaining that focus at all points, I certainly hear what you're saying. And thanks to Disc Baron for being a sponsor of so many of my video blogs throughout the year.
This Baron, thank you guys. So here's another hole. It's a par 4, about almost 600 feet with a mandatory to the left. The tee pad is very, very slick, so you have the option to tee off from the dirt if you would like.
Yeah, they have the whole, there's a red line on the ground, and all of that area, hopefully you don't wipe out like you just did, all of that area, there's that red line, and you can tee from anywhere within that.
Oh, thanks, Terry.
Hey, if that's your first bogey here during your first round of commentary, we're all right. Yeah, and this does come in at 700 feet on the dot.
Okay, 700. Okay.
So you're just trying to beat that Mando tree there?
Yeah, and I hit the Mando tree, and I kicked, luckily, to the right of it, so I can go around it.
Wyatt is going to use the tee, but it looks like it just came out early, and he misses the Mando on the left side. So he'll go to a shorter tee. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Look what you got here.
Yeah. And I'm right by that the sign on the tee.
So that's a tee sign holder for that tee pad where people clearly put their bags and would normally be a tee sign. And what are you thinking here?
You know, I'm struggling to figure it out. As you'll see right now, the video, I'm thinking different options. But I think I opt to go like a backhand one-step roller that really didn't work out that good. So.
Don't spoil it for him here.
I'd rather be right in front of you than that.
I'm thinking at this point, you should just go with you have a great forehand. So just go with a standstill forehand and trying.
Well, you know, I thought about that, but that tee sign is still in my backhand throw, and it's backhand or side arm, and I just opted to go with this. I don't know what I was thinking, honestly.
Right no, very tough shot. I'm not second guessing you. I was surprised to not just see you kind of go there with a standstill. And
a no step roller, which catches the tree. And I go up and I advance about 80 feet.
A little more than that, but yeah, it all that work, and that's where I thought, like, oh man, if you would have just went with a standstill forehand, you would have at least thrown it 250, 300.
You know, but I wanted to get further down the fairway. And just
you're getting greedy.
Yeah, as most of us are.
You know, sometimes on the tables, Steve, you got to be okay with the push, and you can't be.
Or you can, Terry, you can go at 19 or 00 as we did. Come on, guy.
I don't think the analogy to roulette's quite the right one, but whatever. So James is left. He's in good position from the tee. Doesn't take quite full advantage of the upshot. And now here you are. Now you've gone from, what you had to now you're just trying to save a par.
Yeah, I felt beat up outlaw, and I have to hit a super precise line, and I get up there for a pretty good putt for par. So.
And we have Wyatt, and to be fair, Wyatt throws pretty quickly, and so there's a few times him and Kerry Trotter, who I think we see in the next round, they both love to get up and throw pretty quick, so you don't always see their full run up.
Yeah, they're pretty fast. You got to really be on them.
Pinegar just off the mark for the birdie.
Yeah, man, I was feeling bad for Wyatt because I know he was struggling with his wrist issues out there. So And a lot of that has to do with the putting part of it.
Yeah, because it seemed like they didn't bother him too much during the drive, as Proctor's birdie is just off the rim. It just seemed like, you know, those 30-foot putts were the kind of the biggest challenge for him.
Yeah, you know what, man? Sometimes you start off with making putts like that, and it becomes easy. But if you miss early on, it becomes a tough issue to make circle putts. You know, just the mind game is really crazy when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Now you have a really solid up and down. You know, it's a working man's par.
Yeah, I mean that's what I do. Honestly, I'm a scrappy player, guys. You know what I mean? How are we out there? Like I don't make it look pretty. I make it look really rough, but I can get the job done on the scramble part of it.
Well, you and Proctor still knotted up at 22 under, 4 clear of the closest guy in Pinegar. And now here we are on 16. There's like a fake ravine / gully that's hazard, the same one we saw in 2.
So it's a super tight line. You have to have a straight shot that hyzer flips over OB when you get towards the basket. It's about 400 feet. Super tough hole. You can lay it up and then go over the ravine, or you can go for the basket. It's an option, but it's really tough. Anything can happen on the hole like this.
Whatever you're doing, you have to be committed, right?
Yeah, Proctor, the hyzer flip, just a gorgeous throw right here. Like you can't throw it any better than what he just did. And then, and then here I am throwing a putter, like just laying it up because I was scared.
Yeah, and to be fair, not even laying it up very good. Like that was a bad layup even.
No, it was. It was not a good layup, especially after Proctor does that. You know, it was not a good throw. But now I got to scramble to throw a good upshot over OB, and the bat is like 5 feet past the OB. So,
wow, what are you doing out there? Okay.
I don't know, bro. You know, that wasn't bad though.
No, that was a pretty okay recovery. The world's okayest recovery.
You know, man, I played this game for a long time. I played the course for a lot of years, so I kind of have a little bit of what I'm doing, but I still don't know what I'm doing.
Proctor actually went about 30 deep, and so he was coming back at the basket there. Pinegar's looking at almost the same distance.
And you know what? The crazy thing about that is you end up a little bit long, and OB's like 5 feet behind it. So that comeback putt really gets in your head if you miss the putt. Like you can go right out of bounds.
Yeah, you're looking, back at the culvert, so to speak.
So the 20-foot putt, it's not like it's a hard putt, but you have to make that putt. You have to make it, or you're gonna go out of bounds. And that was something that Proctor did a great shot, and it didn't really commit to the putt and came up short. But that out of bounds is so close, and it really gets in your head. You have to really commit to the putt and just give it everything.
So when we thought that he was going to pick up a stroke, he actually doesn't. And you guys are knotted up with 2 holes left to go in the second round. And hole 17 is pretty straightforward at 325.
Yeah, there's OB to the left and OB long, but it really doesn't come into play. Proctor takes super high hyzer over the trees. Couldn't really tell what happened there, and I go underneath the trees because I can't throw that far.
I was just going to say, you wouldn't even really think about going over the trees, would you?
No, I mean, I could. I didn't practice, but under the trees was a little bit safer, and I can really commit to the shot better. So I do the underneath, and I think I hit the tree and came up short. And then there's the sidearm, which works too, but you have to really carry it far left before it comes back into play. So you're hanging out over the OB the whole time.
No. Yeah, because I feel like you have to throw this about 310, low, and then play the last 15 feet or 20 feet of skip to the basket.
Yeah.
But you got to keep it low.
Yeah, it's probably about, at least 310, 330, 335 at least,
Yeah, pro tip next time for you, Steve, if you wear your glasses, since we're not together right now, on the bottom left it says that the distance is 325 actually.
And you believe that, guy? You think every... Let me tell you about the Pro Tour and what they do. Oh, no. I don't want this. This is going to go viral, okay?
Oh, it's all viral. Well, that's why we have Bushnell.
When it's really like 690.
And you get the birdie getting back to business. Big shout out to Bushnell for joining the Pro Tour. If you want to support me more, Bushnell, we're here listening, and I'll even hold the rangefinders for Steve, so you can't complain about the distances.
No, and I'm gonna compliment you on that. Say Bushnell, yes, because they need help with the distances. Absolutely. And Terry's your man. And the Pro Tour, yes, they need your help.
All right, so we're through 35 holes, and we got a commercial from Legacy here. We'll stand down.
Yeah.
What's up, everyone? We're back again this Friday on the Legacy Disc Pro Shop with the Black Sparkle Vengeance. These are going to be numbered and limited with the prototype stamp on it. As you can see from the video, they're nice and stable. They're great for forehands, great for headwinds. They got a nice flat profile on them. I guarantee you're going to love them. So make sure and check it out this Friday. Don't miss out. Legacy!
All right, make sure you check out the Legacy Pro Shop, not just this Friday, but any Friday. Always action going on over there. So we're here on 18, and if you miss, like we just saw by James, you want to miss kind of early because he's still safe, right?
Yeah, he's still safe. You can. It's like an island hole. If you lay up short, you're safe. And there's like a 50-foot gap that's OB, and then around the basket is safe. So you got to commit to the throw or the layup on this hole.
Well, it looks like you're giving it everything. That thing's got to fight back.
And it does, actually. And I'm actually quite a bit safe than what I actually thought I was OB on the hole, but I was in the circle for the putt.
Yeah, all part of the plan, he says. So here's Chris. Yeah. Chris is still just within 4 of you guys, trying to secure himself a spot on the lead card during the final round, coming in round 3. And, he pulls it over, but again, he's at least, he didn't carry into the hazard area.
He hits early, but at least he's safe and he can make enough shots from there.
And
Wyatt thing, kind of, right?
One of the two.
Yeah, it looks like I think he's going to be safe as well. He doesn't quite get all the way to the hazard. So Chris, on this beautiful Saturday night, it's pushing probably about 5:30 at night. Just trying to close things out, yeah. Of course, they got an elevated pin here, as if this hole isn't tough enough. And here you are trying to close out your round and take the solo lead.
Yes. Yes, I made it. Well, yeah.
You did. Your putting's been very solid. Again, you started the day at 11 under, so you shoot a 13, and James opened the tournament with a 14, and you've got a 1-stroke lead now.
Yeah, I felt pretty good about it. I knew that the last day was going to be a battle between me and James, because James is badass. And, I was just really looking forward to it. And, of course, we had 2 perfect days of weather. And, Sunday, of course, it's going to be ripping winds, right? Of course. It's Vegas.
Of course it is. All right, guys. Well, I want to know what you guys think of Sunset now that you've seen it for 2 rounds. Leave that in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe. Steve, thank you for joining. Thank you to Legacy and the rest of the crew. Stick around. We'll see you guys for round number 3 as the 2020 Halloween Classic presented by Legacy concludes on Championship Sunday. We'll see you guys then.
He's the disc golf guy.
Nailed it. That won't be in the outtakes.
Okay, ready? He's the disc golf guy, and this is his video blog.
All right, not so bad. So Steve, doing some work out there today, a really solid round. How did it feel?
Felt pretty good, considering the night we had.
We got too much sleep.
Way too much sleep, yeah. So no, I got off to a pretty hot start. I closed the gap on James early, and I was just able to carry the momentum throughout the whole round.
Yeah, really, it was quite comical that the only way you lost the box is finally to an ace.
Yeah.
That was a pretty incredible moment. What did it look like from the tee? I was all the way over at the basket. What did it look like?
I actually did not see it until I saw the replay on your camera, and but it's pretty relatively easy hole, so a lot of shots go spike in like right on top of it, and his just happened to slam it and stay in the basket. So.
And then a couple holes later, which we didn't get, unfortunately, your nephew Cam aces hole 10.
Yep. So a couple aces out there. I think there's the only two. They will split a pretty healthy ace pot, I think.
All right, so to lead us into round number 3, we're through 2 rounds, of course. What needs to be done during the final round here?
Pretty much the same thing I did today. I got to get out there and get off to a hot start. I think that's the key to playing a pretty good round out here is getting off to a good start, getting all those easy birdie holes, and then once you get towards the middle of the course, it kind of some holes that are like in-betweener holes that are hard to get, so there's not much movement throughout like the middle of the round there. So get out to a hot start, get some birdies towards the end, and then just, try to just make no mistakes out there.
Now, this being my first time here, and this is my last question, but first time here, has this been insanely calm? Like, aren't normally you guys dealing with wind?
Yeah, out here in the desert, it does get windy at least one of the 3 rounds, but it has been pretty nice, and hopefully we get another nice day tomorrow.
All right, this is Steve Rico. We're through 2 rounds, just 18 left to play. Nice job on that intro. All right, we'll catch you guys for the final round tomorrow.